Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. This is Rambeard, and today we're gonna talk about Exarch Maladaar, the one who writes Alex in a peculiar way, about Socrethar, the Man'ari, and we're gonna delve deep into the city of the dead, Auchindoun. We'll spend time comparing our timeline with the Warlords of Draenor timeline regarding these subjects. In Warlords of Draenor, we meet Exarch Maladaar quite soon. He has been taken captive by the Iron Horde and is being tortured east of the Dark Portal. We release him with ease, and he starts playing a humble role in the small force that is Khadgar, us, and others that survived the attack on the Dark Portal and are trapped in Draenor now. In the questline, he has minor tasks, but he does come across as a capable and respectable Draenei. After we escape the Iron Horde and set sail for Shadowmoon Valley, Maladaar leaves us to attend to the Council of Exarchs in the city of Elador. We do not instantly follow him, as we have some other matters to attend to, mainly concerning our freshly built garrison. When we've progressed a bit into the Shadowmoon Valley, we ask the Draenei for their active help against the Iron Horde. We meet up with Exarch Othar, who tells us we need to convince the Exarchs to help us. We get along with the Exarchs quite well, as we help Exarch Hataru and Exarch Nael. Then, we arrive at Exarch Maladaar, who instantly says he'll vote to help us, but he senses some foul, fell energies within the city. We investigate a trail of fell energy, and at the origin we find a vile shrine. When we dispatch of the foulness there, we return to the Exarchs, only to find Exarch Hataru has been murdered, by whom we do not know, and Exarch Maladaar says we might have to ask Hataru's spirit. A painful process. Even though the other Exarchs do not wish to bestow such pain upon the already suffering Hataru, we help Maladaar to do so anyways. With the help of a soulbinder of the Auchindoun, soulbinder Niami, we manage to ask Hataru's spirit the questions. When asked who killed him, his spirit points to Niami and she immediately stops the ritual. She acts as if Hataru only pointed at her because he wanted the ritual to stop, so we do not know anything new. Maladaar gives us a lens capable of detecting fell energy to place at the town's highest point, so that the betrayer would be revealed. At the highest point in town, Exarch Othar awaits us, and as we place the lens, we see the betrayer is him. We fight, but are unable to take him out. When Othar is damaged, he turns into a Man'ari. He renames himself Socrethar, an agent of the Burning Legion. He departs for Talador, where we will eventually meet again. With the betrayer revealed, peace returns to Elador, and no one suspects Niami yet. After all this has happened, Maladaar, together with Niami, travels to the Auchindoun to protect it, while we go about our business in Shadowmoon Valley and later in Gul'dan. The reason for the existence of a place like the Auchindoun is explained in the dungeon journal. As it states, the original exiles of Draenor found death to be an unsettling and unfortunate consequence of life, and so the Draenei hid their dead away in the subterranean grave city of Auchindoun, a labyrinthine marvel beneath the forest of Teron'gor. When Maladaar arrives in Talador, he finds that the Auchindoun is being assaulted by the Shadow Council, led by Gul'dan. Gul'dan and Teron'gor are both part of the assault, so things can get very messy. When we arrive at the Auchindoun, we see it still stands beautifully there, with spirits of past Draenei walking around. We help Maladaar and others to counter the Council's attacks as much as possible, but we can't get a hold of Gul'dan and Teron'gor. When chasing them, they keep escaping through fell portals, until we arrive at a fell portal in Gul Rock, where soulbinder Niami is desperately trying to keep the portal open. She tells us to go through to confront Gul'dan and Teron'gor, but when we go through, we arrive at the broken world of Xandros. We have to fend off a massive pit lord summoned by Gul'dan. In the chaos, they escape through yet another portal, but we do manage to kill the pit lord. When going through this next portal, we find ourselves at the entrance of the Auchindoun, which the Shadow Council has probably infiltrated by now. Then comes the time where we enter the Auchindoun, in which Niami finally drops her shroud, revealing her affiliation with the Legion.
What is this? Oh no. No!
Yes, Tulani. Now you see. Your efforts were valiant. I did not think the Anchorites could power the defenses with only one of the crystals. But nothing will stop my plan, nor that of my masters. And the only things in our way
You have to stop them!
are you, Tulani, and your outsider friends.
We kill her nice and clean, but the Auchindoun is still infected with fell creatures. We battle our way through and find Teron'gor in the middle of the mausoleum. After a long fight we repel him, but he is not yet defeated. There is also no trace of Gul'dan, but the Auchindoun is safe for now, being cleansed of the foul beasts. North of the Auchindoun, Shattrath lies under siege. When the Iron Horde attacks the city of Shattrath in Draenor, they are not the only ones assaulting the city. Forces of the Burning Legion walk around town destroying whatever is inside. We fight them, but there seems to be no end to their forces. Then at one point we get contacted to go to Exarch Maladaar at the Spire of Light. Socrethar, the former Exarch Othar, has been spotted, and stopping him would be a massive dent in the Legion's assault. We summon him, give him a chance to redeem himself, and when he laughs at this offer, we strike. After an epic battle we manage to kill him, ending his foul schemes. This is the last we see of Socrethar, and until now also the last we see of Exarch Maladaar. In our timeline, we were not there to help 30 to 35 somewhat years ago. Socrethar was never killed by us, so is able to play a part in the assault of the Legion. Even though he managed to put a stop to most of the Legion's attacks in Outland, it takes a long time before we get to face Socrethar. Then, at last, somewhere in Netherstone, there are reports of him. To get to him, we have to find two halves of a key that allows us access to a portal, which leads to a small island in the floating nether, where Socrethar sits upon his throne. We are not able to kill him on our own, as he's gotten noticeably more powerful over the years, becoming a very important agent of the Legion. Luckily, the Elder or the Scryers, depending on what faction you're affiliated with, are there to fight by our sides. The leaders of either the Elder or the Scryers even make an appearance, fighting along our side. With all this help, we managed to end Socrethar there, leaving him dead in 2 timelines. Now back to the Auchindoun. In our timeline, the Auchindoun isn't so majestic anymore. It lays broken in the middle of the bone wastes. As we were not there to prevent the Shadow Council from infiltrating the Auchindoun in our timeline, they were able to set a foothold deep inside the mausoleum. In one of the 4 wings of the Auchindoun, which is now called the Shadow Labyrinth, the warlocks of the Shadow Council summoned forth a massive elemental, Murmur. With an appearance similar to that of Ragnaros and other elemental lords, we can guess the power that Murmur holds. In the Codex of Blood, a book held by the Shadow Council inside the Shadow Labyrinth, we learn that Murmur is the essence of sound, and that he has been around since the creation of the universe. We learn that a mortal with unmatched powers over the arcane and shadow arts, probably Gul'dan, summoned forth this elemental, keeping it bound by feeding its souls. The summoning of Murmur actually brought so much power into the world that the Auchindoun and the surrounding area exploded. This left the Auchindoun in its current state and created the bone wastes that surround the Auchindoun. The usage of these forbidden magics allowed ethereals to slip into the world of Outland, and the second of Auchindoun's wings is now inhabited by these ethereals, the Mana Tombs. Another wing is inhabited by Arakoa and their ravens, seeking to use the arcane energies of the Auchindoun. The last wing of the Auchindoun is the only wing that is still inhabited by dead Draenei. The souls of the Draenei from the other wings have all been used to feed the several foul creatures that now inhabit the Auchindoun. Exarch Maladaar has always stayed to protect the Auchindoun, even after its destruction. However, after he lost everything he loved, he could not keep his sanity. In the 35 years between the infiltration of the Shadow Council and the present in our timeline, Maladaar has been teared from the inside, longing for the people he once loved. As the Dungeon Journal states, his lunatic dedication to the preservation of their memory has driven him to a mastery of the dark arts. A Draenei spirit by the name of Great Father Aldrimus is one of the few spirits that has not been bound to anything or used in any experiments of necromancy. He asks us to go inside the Auchinai crypts and kill Exarch Maladaar. We find the Exarch at the end of the Auchinai crypts and end him. However, something most beautiful happens when we kill him. For this all to make sense, you must know that the spirit of Dore, the Naru that perished when the Draenei spacecraft Auchindoun crashed into Outland, was laid to rest inside the Auchinai crypt. Naru never really die, they just lose their power of light. Over time, this power can regenerate, and Dore is almost fully regenerated when we kill Maladaar. This allows him to redeem the spirit of Maladaar, and so he is sane once more in death. The spirit of Maladaar walks out of the Auchinai crypt and asks Aldrimus for forgiveness. Aldrimus states that everything is forgiven in death. With this, Maladaar passes on, and so we do not see him again. A beautiful end to a magnificent character. How he seemed so just and strong in Draenor, how he turned so dark in our timeline. Even though the Auchindoun lies destroyed in Teron'gor Forest, I think we can still look back to it with a smile, as we were able to cleanse it of all its foulness. Alas, we've come to an end. I hope you enjoyed the lore, and of course the video, and I wish you have a good day. Thanks for watching.